Hey guys, FitByCourt here. Alright, we're going to continue talking about joint mobility. This time we're going to talk lower body, right? Toes, ankles, knees, hips. You'll notice that we kind of mash, kind of mirror image ourselves, right? Fingers and toes are very similar. Those ankle and wrist joints are very similar. And you got the knees and the elbows and that full ball and socket at the hips, right? So let's break it down. We're going to start with the toes. We're going to flex and extend the toes. So all we're going to do is curl those toes up, right? Putting a little bit of pressure down into the earth, kind of pressing, and then curl the toes under. Again, like we said before, when we lose mobility in our joints, it really starts to wreak havoc in the body. And we often have a tendency to forget the feet, right? They carry us around all day. There's tons of bones in there, and we really need to stay focused on keeping healthy, joints all throughout the body. So just back and forth, curl, extend, flex, right? Both sides, extend and flex. Beautiful. Now, you can do that with and without the floor. Sometimes using the floor helps, especially if our joints are really stiff, to kind of give a little resistance back. Once we start to get a little movement back in there, we can curl them down and extend them, right, without the floor. A lot of us spend a lot of time in boots and heels and all kinds of shoes, flip-flops. Right, down here in Florida, man, we're in flip-flops all the time. But they're really not good for our feet, right? So if you're sitting at your desk, take it, do a little work through, right? Extend and flex those toes with or without the floor. Now, this is going to sound a little silly, feel a little silly, but we're going to try and disassociate the big toe from the rest of the toes, right? So lifting the big toe off the ground, then press the big toe into the ground and lift the other toes. And just simply back and forth, right? And lift. If you're really struggling with this, use your hand, hold the toe up, and see if you can hold it there. Just like our 3-year-old, when she goes through her numbers, when she first started learning her hands and her signs, her fingers, having to put those, that muscle memory isn't there. So don't get discouraged. Just come down, pull that toe up, hold on to it, and let it start to connect with the brain, okay? You can actually work on lifting each toe independently, right? I can get those 2 toes in the middle, but I can't independently get them all to lift. So again, you come down here, you lift through the one, and you start to practice if you want to. That's just a little silly extra. All right, from there, from the toes, we're going to move into the ankles. So again, using the floor for this first portion, listen to the knees, right, as we set up here. Kind of put yourself on like railroad tracks so you get a little bit of space, a little bit of width, right? And then we're going to just kind of lean down into it so that you're flexing that ankle. You're narrowing that angle in the ankle. And then you're going to flip it over. The toes are kind of involved, but you really want to like get past the toes and extend that ankle, right? Lengthening through the ankle. Flex it, extend it. Again, I've got this chair here to support you with balance. I highly recommend, especially if you struggle with balance, to have something to hold on to. You don't want to be worried about balance right now. You just want to be nice and safe, right? Do both sides, as always. 2 sides of the body, checking in with both. I did tons of damage to my ankles in high school playing volleyball. And over the years, I've really recovered and repaired them pretty well. I still have issues here and there, but these nice little exercises, gaining mobility, some strength exercises and such. Now, without the floor, it's simply a point and a flex, right? Same thing, but that floor just assists you in kind of deepening and helping you gain and increase it. Once you really kind of have it, just point and flex, point and flex. All right, now we're going to roll the ankles out. Please be careful. Again, please find something to balance on. I have quite a bit of mobility through these ankles, primarily because they were injured. torn ligaments and such. So you may not look anything like this when you do it, but externally rotating and internally rotating. And you can do one at a time. Listen to those knees, but really just working through the ankle. Beautiful. From there, we simply just draw some circles one way. Sometimes those circles get a little weird. Again, that muscle memory, that neuromuscular response of actually being able to control the body and have the brain tell the body what you need it to do can get a little complicated. So again, working through your pointing and flexing first, kind of internally and externally rotating, and then working your way to those circles. Circle one way, and circle the other way. Beautiful. Now, especially if we've had any ankle injuries, but even just a good warm-up, depending on what you're doing. Let's say, I don't know, you're going to do a HIIT workout, right? Lots of high-impact movement, which I don't really do much of anymore. I keep everything really low and moderate impact. My dad's a chiropractor, and I've learned over the years that that impact is just really rough on the body. But if you're going to do it, there's a lot of good ways to keep the body safer, right? And really getting a good warm-up is a great way to keep the body safe. You can simply draw your alphabet. A, B, right? I'm not gonna sit here and draw the whole alphabet for you with both feet. But again, that's another great exercise to do while just sitting at your desk. You can keep working, draw those letters out, get some mobility through those ankles, okay? From there, let's talk about the knees. Again, that ankle is a mobile joint. That knee is a stable joint. We don't want too much wiggle room through there. We want a good, strong, safe knee. But if we have issues, if we lose mobility elsewhere, the body will find that space somewhere. And so it's going to go take it from somewhere that it probably shouldn't take it from. So let's make sure that we have all the mobility through the body to help it properly function all together. So with the knee, all we're going to do, straighten it out and bend it, right? So you're going to pull it out as far as you can, pull it in as far as you can. All right, you can do it down low, so straightening the leg, bending the leg. Flex, extend. As always, both sides. And if we have knee problems, if we have low back problems, if we're worried about balancing and standing while we do that, this whole thing can be done from right here, right? So you want to extend and flex. And you can even do both at the same time if you're sitting. Up to you. Okay? From there, we're going to do some little circles through the knees. So we're going to put a slight bend in the knee, a nice little soft bend. The hands are just going to go to the tops of the thighs. And we're going to draw circles, kind of imaginary circles with the knees around. Another way. And if you really want to get complicated, you can draw some figure eights. Right? Make sure there's no knee injuries that we're working through. Right? Keeping everything nice and safe. And those figure eights might be a little tricky, but the knees, great way to warm up before any high impact activity. Okay, toes, right? Ankles, knees. Let's move to the complicated part, the hips, right? A lot of people have issues through the hips. A lot of us are sitting all day for work, shortening those hip flexors, causing low back pain. Okay, so let's break down all the movements that we can do here for the hips through this joint, okay? Again, flexion and extension. So find your balance with that chair, the wall, the table, whatever you got. Pull the knee all the way up, and then extend it all the way back, right? Pull it up. Flex, extend. Beautiful. And the other side, same thing, up and back. Straight leg on the way back, you'll notice. Up and back, right? It's not bent or curling. We're working through the hip now. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to talk about internal and external rotation through the hip. I'm going to show 2 ways to do this. So the first way, the easiest way, pull that knee back up, turn the foot in, turn the foot out. But we'll go out as far, that's fine. In, out. Just kind of like a bell, that little pendulum, back and forth. And another way to do it, a little more complicated sometimes, the body, again, if the brain and the body aren't really connected, but you can turn the toes in and the toes out. Same exact thing, that internal and external rotation through the hip, just a little bit different way to do it. And as always, find your balance, back and forth. Or straight leg, turn it in and out. All right, we're gonna abduct and adduct. So abduction, adduction, open and close. Straight leg, go ahead and flex the heel, lift and lower. The good news is we're getting a little workout through those saddlebags here as well. Perfect, other side. Beautiful. And shake it out. Take a little breath. Okay, we're going to start. We're going to point the toe, and we're going to take it in and across as far as you can. Then we're going to just draw a big rainbow all the way out and around as far behind as you can. Around to the front, around to the back. Again, in the beginning, it may just be smaller, and it'll grow over time. Just like anything, practice makes progress. You will find more space in those joints the more you do this. You want to make this a little more difficult, up and over, right? Kind of combining a few things. Perfect. And then we'll do the other side. Let me get this guy just out of my way. But just leave it over to the other side if we need that balance. Forward and back. Please don't risk injury by forcing yourself to find balance that you may not have yet. All right? We will work on balance in yoga. So if you want to practice your balance, let's find it over there and not risk anything over here. Again, up and over if you like. Last one. Again, you want to do about 5 to 10 of each of these on each joint, each side. Okay. So maybe you have a stubborn joint that really kind of causes you issues. You want to work on that a little bit more. Great. But we went through the toes, the ankles, the knees, and the hips. So if you watch the upper body one, right, we've done the whole body except for the spine. If you haven't watched the upper body one, click over there. And if you haven't watched the spine one, that one's available as well. Okay, so we're going to talk upper body, lower body, and full spine to really give you full mobility and fluidity through your body. This combined with our yoga practice, I promise you, promise you, you will start to feel better. You will start to feel younger, right? What if I could promise you to feel younger? I mean, who doesn't want that, right? Let's say let's not promise. I won't promise you anything, but I really highly value these movements and believe in what I'm giving you. So run through it and let me know how you're feeling, guys. Thanks so much. Have a great one.